on. Okay. So let me give a small recap what we have discussed in the previous sessions. The main concept what we have talked about in the previous session is the networking of an app service where you could restrict the app service access and where we can also integrate your virtual network to have a secured communication from a virtual network resources to the PaaS offerings. And then we have discussed about advanced tools like Guru tools where you could find out the environment details as well as uh, kind of command line PowerShell window for your app service and also log streaming backend configurations and the path details and everything, right? For a kind of troubleshooting purpose, you could make use of the advanced tools. And one more important concept what we have discussed is scale in and scale out. Scale in is something we could call it as a vertical scaling where you could increase the assigned compute to the next level. That is vertical scaling. We have scale out where you can increase the number of instances from one to many. That can be called as a horizontal scaling. When it comes to horizontal scaling, you have manual scaling where you could replace from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 based on your requirement. Apart from manual scaling, you have an option of auto scaling. When it comes to auto scaling, you can do this auto scaling based on the metrics, right? So let me take that. So we could do the auto scaling based on the metrics. Metrics in the sense I'm referring to, it can be your CPU utilization, it can be your memory utilization, right? It can be anything. So you could see here available metrics. It does support many kind of a scaling is been triggered, but no rules are defined. Where is the add button? Yeah. So here I'm referring your auto scaling can be done by using CPU memory, which we all of us been quite aware of. There is a how much data is incoming, how much data is going in, what is the disk queue and TCP closing. There is so many parameters which you could consider for auto scaling. So commonly used ones are CPU utilization and memory utilization of your app service. If not, we have one more app service that is on a specific count based on your scheduling basis as well apart from metrics base so that in the specific schedule your instance counts will automatically scale out and then give the service to your applications. Immediately we also talked about function apps. Function apps is kind of serverless platform as service which does offer by Microsoft Azure. So whereas this will be used for your by your developers to run some kind of a background operations for towards your application where they could intend to run a small piece of a code to complete some operations in your application. And as part of today's session, we're going to talk about key vaults as a service. So key vaults is nothing but it's a password management solution. So when I say that in a safeguard our keys. So keys in the sense it is equal to your encryption keys, what we have discussed in the earlier sessions, like when it comes to disk, there is a customer managed key, platform managed key we discussed, right? When it comes to encryption standpoint, those keys, when a Linux machine comes in, we have generated a keys. You remember we have generated a key and then we have logged in with the help of the key to the Linux based operating systems. So that can be managed in this key vaults. It can be created and then safely you can save it here. When it comes to secrets, secrets is nothing but your usernames and passwords. Let's say you are having 100 different usernames and 100 different passwords. Is it possible for you to remember? in a general scenario, technically that is not possible. So what you will do, you can make a note of a hint of the password or password itself in your wherever you feasible, like a Word file, Notepad, or an Excel file. So if someone has taken out that particular file, what will happen? Your entire credentials will be used by someone else. So when it comes to key vaults, right, you can manage your usernames and passwords of your application so that this will not allow anyone to access, and your application directly can connect to key vault and fetch the required usernames and passwords. The second kind of an use case with the key vault. Third level is where it does help with the certificates. When I mean certificates, so we have discussed yesterday's session, right? Custom domain SSL settings. We have seen some certificates is been expiring, right? Like let's say it has 1 year of an expiry. Next year we have to upload a PFX file or certificate file, and then we need to bind that to our website. Correct? If you could see that it's a one application, it is fine. One web app is fine that you can easily upload and manage. Assume that in Azure you have let's say 500 applications which are using the same certificate of your company. 500 different applications are using same certificate for the security. In such kind of scenarios, you can upload one time in a key vault certificate, and this key vault can be called out by all 500 applications. You no need to upload and configure at all the application level. Those can be called out directly by your key vault and then do the certificate accessibility. Clear, guys? Voluntarily soul. It does help in safeguarding your keys, usernames and passwords, your certificates. These are all three different categories in Key Vault. It does support. It is used and it is protected by very enterprise level of security module, not only with Microsoft. You can refer it to any kind of a password management tools. It will all backed up or protected by HSM modules. We'll call it as a HSM. HSM stand for hardware security modules, right? Any questions with the keywords, guys?
No, Surinder.
Yeah. So what I will do now, I'm going to create quickly one key vault and show you how you can create keys, secrets, and other stuff. Key vault, click on create. So I'm just using this 27 RG key vault name. Again, it will use the key vault name with the ends with vault.net, azure.vault.net. So the name should be unique. If I give a test, it will say that this might be name is already been used. So whenever you are giving some kind of a PaaS offerings, guys, do remember whenever you are dealing with platform as a service, it means it's commonly used by multiple people or multiple vendors of Azure customers, whereas the name should always be unique. Let's say if I use AZT21, it will take set because this will definitely be unique one. Okay. Next one is region. You can choose which of the region your service has been residing. It is not like your project base wherever your dependent services basically, let's say you want to take this certificate from a virtual machine, you want to take the certificate from an app service, you want to take the certificate from Kubernetes, right, Docker. So where and all these particular services are residing, so better to choose in the same region. It doesn't have any constraint to give a service from a different region, but yeah, recommended one with the East US. And you have a pricing tier, standard and premium. So this standard one is fair enough when it comes to business requirement. When it comes to premium, it is required when you want to satisfy some of the security requirements. We discussed right service endpoints initially. there is a concept called private endpoint. So private endpoint, what it does, it will assign an IP address similar to your virtual machine, how you will get an IP address to connect. Similarly, you will be get assigned one IP address, okay, to your keyword service with the premium, but it is a costlier service. You should be careful in it when you are enabling the pricing tier. But when it comes to technology, apart for your business requirement, this tier of standard will does suffice. And we have an option called soft delete. This soft delete option, earlier scenario, a year before, is an end user requirement that he can enable or disable. But for now, it is been mandated by Microsoft that it's by default enabled state. So what is mean by soft delete and enable? It does, if you guys able to recall, we discussed this keyword in as part of our which concept? Storage account, blob soft delete option, file soft delete, as well as file share soft delete, table queue soft delete option. So this is nothing but kind of a backing up. Let's say today you feel that this particular certificate, this particular username or password is no more needed, right? And you deleted them, right? With the help of soft delete option, what will happen? What are your deleted usernames and a password can be retained with the number of days here. Let's say if I'm being mentioning 90 days, what will happen? This 90 days, you will get the keys which you have been deleted. Last 90 days, you can able to retain or recover them. Clear guys with this option, what software it will do? If as by default option is enabled, we have an option to choose the number of days only. So the minimum is 77 and maximum is 90 days. You can retain the usernames, passwords, keys, and certificates. Let's see if I give 7 days, what will happen? I can able to retain my deleted usernames and passwords, secrets, and certificates for last 7 days. Is it clear with the option? Next option is purge protection. When it comes to purge protection, so the changes, right, as we are enabled this soft delete, first option will disable the purge protection. It means allow keyword and objects to be purged during the retention period. So it means we are allowing the keyword to do the purging whenever you are done with the retention period, whatever we mentioned, 7 days, right? After completing the 7 days, it will purge the keys by keyword itself. So here, if you're enabling this, what will happen? Here will it's an enforce. We are enforcing that mandatory to do the retention in the backend. So either an option, it doesn't have much difference. We can go with the default one. So we didn't discuss the other options. Let me come back. We have talked about only basic. Let's talk about access policies. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So we discussed all the options in the basics tab. So let me go to the access policy. So access policy is something where this particular access policy you can decide, right? Let's say we are all of us who are all there in this session, like Chiranjeevi, Saidu, Shiva, and Venkat. All of us have an owner privileges an entire subscription. It does mean we can all create delete, manage any kind of a service in Key Vault. But to access the keys inside, to access the username password, to access the certificate inside of a Key Vault, who can access them is that it will always be your whoever you have defined under access policy. By default, whoever is got created, he will get a full access. Let's say after I can create this, if you guys are trying to access the keys or a secret, what it will say, for you can able to see the resource, but when it comes to look after what is the password value, what is the username value, it will not allow you to show because until or unless your ID been added under access policy like this. When it comes to real time also, if the virtual machine want to access the key vault, if you guys remember, we have talked about manage identity. That managed identity is nothing but service principal. You need to select the service principal here, select the principal from this list, and then you can define the permission. Let's say your virtual machine have a requirement to access only secrets. It doesn't have anything to access keys or certificates. So what I have done, I've given a permission across only secrets with all the permission. Right, let's say tomorrow there's other application of app service. For app service identity, what I will do, I'm gonna create an identity, manage identity, and provide that you just get the certificate. That's it. You don't have anything to do. You get your certificate from the keyword. So the required permissions you need to deliberately be given what exactly they need instead of providing all the permissions. Because when you give all the permissions, they can modify, they can create and delete the respective certificates, usernames and passwords and your keys. Right? Make sure you have been giving a right set of privileges. By default, as being a owner also, you cannot access it unless you came back to the access policies, adding your ID manually here. So this is what I'm saying for networking. You have an option of private endpoint. This will be available only with the premium. With the standard purchase, it will not allow us to configure. Selected networks is nothing but our service endpoints. Remember, right? We have discussed this in when it comes to storage. You just add your existing virtual networks. For that, first enable the subnet service endpoint and then click on add the subnet so that from a subnet to key vault, the access will always be a secured one. Next one is tags and then review and create. Able to follow guys what we have been discussing about this key vault? Able to follow?
Yes, Surendra.
Yeah. I'm just creating the key vault. Deployment also, it won't take much time. So anyone who requires an access to the key vault, right, what you need to give from the respective application or a virtual machine or app service, you need to allow their ID here from wherever the request is coming from. If you are not allowing the ID under the access policies by click on add access policy, you cannot, the respective destination applications cannot be able to retrieve the keys, certificates or secrets. So let me first discuss about keys. So keys you can import from your local if you are having already, or we can also generate the keys as well. Let's say I'm generating a key named called my Linux hyphen VM. Right? It's an RSA based key. The key type, the size is 20484096. I'm going with all default values here. and you can decide when you want to activate the key. If you don't want to activate it now, let's say you want to activate only from a July 1st and end date will be only from let's say July 31st. Till the time it should not be get activated. So the set of an expiry date, activation then that date will be quite possible in the key wall that is with an R hand. Right? Key rotation policy also can be configured by default, right? Key rotation policy is not configured, but we can enable this key rotation policy as well. So that what will happen? It will get rotated the key. The content of the key will be automatically rotated so that after such time, let's say 1 month of a time frame, if you configure rotation policy, it will not, it will automatically rotate the keys. It means the content of the key will get changed. Let's say if I'm get creating it, what is public network access is disabled and request is not trusted service. Okay. So what happened is, as while I'm explaining networking concept, I selected the service endpoint. Means we selected network. So when I say the selected networks, right, it will allow the connection of accessibility and manageability only from the allowed virtual networks only. So I'm coming from my own internet, and here I said only selected where I don't have my IP has been added or nor the VNet is been added. So it is throwing an error. So I'm just selecting back to all networks, but in a real-time scenario, guys, make sure you are using the selected networks only. For training purpose, for the sake of a training, I'm just using the all networks. Okay, I just saved it. Going back to the keyboard, Linux VM, click on create. But still the changes is not applied. Let me reload the page a couple of times. Network is all networks, keys. Still it has not been changed. But we change it to the all networks only, correct? But when we click on it, it is still showing as a warning. It means that the settings is not getting applied. Better let me get create one more keyword quickly. AZT2101 all networks. The old one is as we are changing back from a selected networks to all networks, that setting is not populating immediately. Maybe we need to delete the cache, sign out and sign in. So instead I was just created new one with all networks. So key vault got created, and when it comes to access policies, my ID is there. Let me go to the create. Here, if you see, the warning is not there as I'm not coming from a trusted network. Now I believe like it will allow me to create the keys. So Linux VM key with RSA 4098. So this format key size we can select. So let me set 4096 bigger key. So if you see here, this is how you will get created one key in Linux VM. So if you see, this is the version of your current version. So when I click on current version, you will get the URL here, complete URL of the key. So what is the URL of it? HTTPS AZT2701 dot vault dot azure dot net is the URL. And then category is keys. Key name is Linux VM. And then key version. So this is the syntax of the URL. This URL can be called out from any of your services, Azure or outside of an Azure, wherever it does call, right? It will give the service. To call that what you need, that particular service requires an identity and an access policy should be allowed. That is the only requirement. Right, let's say you want to see what is there in this content, right? You just download the public key and you could see the content of this key as well. If you wish like to see, this is the content. It does automatically got created. Similar to our SSH public key only, no difference in it. Clear? Similarly, you can go back to your secrets. So secrets is nothing but like usernames and password. Whatever the, let's say I'm just creating one secret. Let's say in your development code there is a requirement for you to connect a different component, let's say from an application to database connectivity. So to get an application to DB connectivity, it requires an username and passwords to connect. Is that very basic requirement? How or else how it will get authenticate? For that, what we need typically, you need a, let's say DB username you need. So I'm just saying the DB username is Azure admin. So you can give a content type. Let's say it is a database. Let's say it is a SQL DB username. So that by seeing this, you can understand the description is not mandatory parameter. Other values are common only, activation time, expiration time. If you want to activate and expire this particular username field, you can set the dates as well by clicking on these values. Otherwise, I'm just creating this username. Similarly, what we need, you should also have a password also. What I will do, I will mention the name of this is EB password. A value is, let's say it is Azure at the rate 1 2 3 4 5 6. You cannot see them by directly. This is SQL DB password. Click on create. So from your application, again, what you will do, you can use this URL as I've been mentioned. Secret identifier. How you can identify this? Your keyword URL type is secrets. Secret name is DB password and the version of this particular one. So that this particular URL you can call out in your application to get the username field. Clear guys? If at all you want to see what is the password, you can click on show secret value. You could see that value here. Azure at the rate 1 2 3 4 5 6. Clear? Tomorrow this particular password has been changed. So what you need to do, you just need to click on new version so that you can select one more password. It will get one more version for the same password. The old version will be disabled. A newer version URL with the newer key of a version ID will be changed. That ID you need to change to a respective application team. Clear? And third scenario is certificates. In the sense real-time scenario here, you have a certificate is saying that valid, the certificate is uploaded at azure.com. In a real-time scenario, you are working for a project called airindia.com. So the airindia.com certificate, you will be having it now. That you can maintain under certificate window. So here you can generate the certificate or you can import the certificate. To generate the self-signed certificate, you can use this window. You have an option of importing the certificates as well. So when I say the import, let's say in your scenario, what are the certificates we'll be having? All right, let's say the certificate name is point to site client certificate, which we have created for our point to site, right? I'm just uploading that certificate. Let's say we were part of AZT27. Where is our folder? No, this AZT27. This is the client certificate. And then PFX, right? We need to give a password for it. So it is importing. So this is a certificate. We are securely storing it here and then calling this using this particular URL here. Clear? So this particular keyword, right, is helping you to call out. This certificate can be called out from your app service. You remember previous session for SSL TLS settings. There is a next option for upload certificate is upload from key vault. It means you don't need to upload it from your local computer. If you have a certificate in a key vault, that certificate can be called out from wherever you want in Azure. Manually you want to call also, you can use this identifier and then call. But to access this identifier of your secrets, certificates and keys, your that particular account should have an access under access policy. Then only the particular secret, passwords, keys, certificate can be accessible. If you see, your all guys have owner privileges on this. Right? If I go to the access control, are able to see how many people are having owner privileges here? But although you being a owner, if you click on the secrets, what it will say by default, it will not list down the Linux VM key for you. It will say that, boss, you are unauthorized to view this content. So what you need to do as being a owner, you can yourself can add your account as an under access policy and then come back and manage the secrets, keys, and certificates. But by default, it will not allow you. Is it clear with the concept, guys? Keyword, any questions? Able to follow?
Yes, Surendra.
Okay. How about Chiranjeevi Shiva? Able to follow?
Yes.
Okay. Next concept which we're going to discuss about is Azure Logic Apps. When it comes to Azure Logic Apps, Azure Logic Apps provide a mechanism, right? It is again a platform as a service offering, right? It does provide of integration services. When I say the integration services, have you guys ever heard of this BizTalk service as a keyword BizTalk in your real-time experience, Saidu, Chiranjeevi?
Yep.
Sorry? Okay. So BizTalk is kind of an where this particular same service will run as a virtual machines in Azure. The integration service is providing with the name called Azure Logic Apps. These logic apps can be used to integrate any kinds of multiple environments. Let's say you have two different applications. You want to integrate them to get the data, put the data, send the data, whatever the operations when it comes to real time. So this particular roles is dedicated roles, right? You have a logic app developers, a logic app admins, right? Who is a separate role where you can, where the people will works for logic app services alone for designing your integration, right? This is completely platform as a service. We no need to worry about backend hosting, scalability, availability, and management of your Azure Logic App services. If it is needed, the scaling will happen in the backend automatically. Right? You have a plan here, like we can have a consumption plan. When I say the consumption plan, based on number of times you run the job or run this integration services, you will be paid for it. If not, you have similar to app service plan, whatever we have discussed for our app service and function app, right? The pricing plans. Similar app service plan can be assigned to the Azure Logic App also. In such cases, whether we use it or not, we need to ending up paying for the bill for a 24 hours in a day. Otherwise, if you go with the consumption plan, what will happen? Whatever you run, whatever you consume, for that the number of jobs only you will be get paid for. Right? Is it clear, guys?
Yes, Surender.
Okay, shall we go ahead and create one logic app and see any kind of an example?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm going back to the portal, creating a resource. The resource name is logic app. Click on logic apps. Click on create. So the name again 27RG. So this will also use the purpose is different, but if you could see, it will use a default URL ends up with Azure websites.net. So when you are using platform as service offering, the name of the service should be unique1. And here I'm just giving a name. Let's say AZT27. It will not take, it will say error. It's already, I'm just adding the 01, 02, 03. Yeah. So AZT2703, I was just given a name. So this is a workflow based and region, as I mentioned, you can choose which of the region you want to integrate. So this is the plans. You could have standard, best for enterprise level serverless application, event based scaling. All right. Here you need to take the plan of your from similar to your app service plans, right? You can give plan name and other stuff. With this, the costlier solution, do remember, and you will be get paid for 24 hours and entire month you will be get paid whether you are using it or not using it. Go with the consumption plan, whereas it will be get paid only for a scenario, the number of jobs or number of hours what you get run. Okay. Next one is tags. And reviews. Creation of logic is pretty much straightforward. Just give a name and a region. That's it. It does automatically get created. Click on create. So the logic app resource has been created. This is how it looks like for the first time. It does help with the tutorials of your logic apps. That's the screen is been loading now. Let me close this or else. So this is the logic app designer. If you see here, there's a quick YouTube tutorial to understand what is mean by this service. Apart from that, if you could see that there is so many defined or default available as in kind of giving understanding to us what kind of an integration you can do. Let's say service bus namespace is next to logic apps we are discussing. For now, it can be new for you. Let's say when a HTTP request is received, let's say you can design a workflow stating that you can give any URL in the world, which can be accessible over the HTTP or HTTPS. So if the particular request in the HTTP, if it is received and you want to trigger another job, so you are integrating two different operations, you can do that. Let's say when a new tweet is posted, so hope we all of us are using a Twitter today. So what will happen in Twitter? In your news feed, you could see a lot of news. A lot of people are tweeting about whatever the interesting topics they do have. Let's say, but you are fascinating or you are interested to know only about certain area of tweets. Let's say you are interested in get to know about trading, or you are interested in getting know only with the movies, or interested only with the cricket. In the cricket, you only about Sachin or Dhoni. Right. In such kind of scenarios, what we can do, you can decide that if the people are posting with the hashtag with the Dhoni, hashtag with the movies, hashtag with the whatever the topic you are requiring, right? Then we can decide an action. So one application is Twitter. You can integrate that outcome of that Twitter a post. If I want to send an email, I can send it to my Gmail or Outlook. So what I'm typically doing in these two, Twitter is a altogether different application. My Outlook or Gmail is running by altogether different company or different application. These two are SaaS products, right? Twitter is a SaaS, software as a service, and Gmail or Outlook also is in SaaS, where it is also a software as a service, right? And we are integrating these two platforms by using Logic Apps. So in a real time also, it can be any application, guys, so that your Logic Apps developers can integrate these services. Yeah. Any questions, guys, with this? Shall we go ahead and create one?
Twitter app. Okay, Surinder.
So let me click on Twitter, for example. So the logic is I want to send an email when there is an uh, when there is a tweet, if someone is referring to Dhoni or someone is referring to movies, I want to receive an email. So this is my requirement. Here, Twitter is running by different company. My Gmail is running by different company. I'm integrating those two applications using Logic Apps. Okay, I'm signing in. So connection name, I'm just saving new tweet. So for that, we need to give a sign in to the Twitter. So my Twitter account is redirecting now. It will ask you to enter the username and password. Password. I'm just signing in. I'm authorizing the Logic Apps. So the signing is successful now. So continue. So I have signed into my Twitter. I'm just such tweet. So I'm just saying in double quotes, if anything with the movies is the this particular keyword, I want to receive an email. Next one is anything, let's say with the hashtag of Dhoni, I want to receive an email. Anything with the hashtag of weather, I want to receive an email. And this is my requirement of a search. So how frequently you want to search, right? I want to search it is by default it's mentioned 3 minutes. So for me, I don't need in a minute based. I'm okay with the daily ones. So I could say that only once in a day is fair enough for my requirement. So what it will do, daily once, it will run the search query. If it is meeting in this any of the search criteria, what is the next step, guys? I can decide this is the one application. Next step is I can integrate the to my email so that this tweet is posted. If you see now what is mentioned when a new tweet is posted, choose an action. So I can choose what action to be done. Let's say assume that I don't want that tweet attached to see. So I can say delete the tweet. Or if I'm interested in tweet, send the tweet. So what I will do, send mail I will do. So what operation I will do, guys? I will do the send mail. So I was searching for an operation, the existing operation of a send email. Or are you able to see? Yeah. So send email. I want to send an email. I was choosing this Gmail option. So this is send email to Surendra Aderu. So use default is not my own Gmail application, it is default public application. So to send it, I need to sign in, right? So I was just using this account as Aderu0609. I'm allowing it. This has been done. To list of valid email address separately by semicolon or comma. So I have signed into my account. Now I will decide to which account I want to send. Let's say in a requirement, apart from me, right? I want to send an email. Let's say I want to send an email surendra.aderu@gmail.com. A similar interest is having by Saidu, Chiranjeevi or Venkat or Siva. I can add those accounts also by comma separator or semicolon so that this information will be shared with you as well. The parameter is what operation I want to send. Let's say here I want to have a subject line. All right, I can have a subject line is it's new tweet about new tweet is about movie or Dhoni. All right, and here it's a new tweet. We're just saying that the content should be I'm working with the subject line itself. Then I can go ahead and search about the tweet about myself. Right. So you can decide this, what are all the operations would like to have, what are all the different things you want to attach a body and then write something. So you can do that if at all is necessary. So in my case, I'm doing pretty simple design here of a logic app. I'm integrating two different applications of a SaaS providers, that is Twitter and Gmail, and click on save. It's not been saved. Why? Failed to save logical mission. The provided workflow definition is not valid. Still it is looking for a body. Let me select for a body. Via retweet. That's it. Tweet text. So apart from my custom subject, right, I can also say the URLs tweet, who is tweeted by, all those details, and also I can able to get it in this window as a dynamic content, right? Okay, it is stopped. Actually, earlier I have been seeing that, but now they are saying that they have stopped it with the Gmail connectors. From a Twitter to a Gmail connectors is not supporting by design, by function. So if you are not interested in it, we can also bring in the Outlook or something. So which is kind of a support application. Let's say Outlook. Send an email. So it is asking me to signing in. So once after the successful sign in, doesn't exist, please work with school or account. So this is not an kind of an enterprise account. This particular sign in is my own personal Outlook account, whereas this particular service of integration, right, is not been enabled. It's only available for O365 Outlooks, not with the personal accounts. If you have a work-based account, then only this particular service is enabled. But hope you guys are understand what we're trying to do here as part of your Logic app integration services from Twitter to your email accounts. Is it clear, guys, with the concept? If someone asks about what is mean by Logic app, were you guys able to answer what it does? Any questions?
We can
Hmm, that sounds good. So that's it for today. Any questions before closing today's session? Okay. If there is no further questions, we'll wind up the session for today and we'll connect back by tomorrow, same time. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining. See you tomorrow.
yeah, thank you, Surinder.